it's Heather, your resident wine and food deal pro here at savings.com. Today we're going to talk about cooking for a crowd for less. Now I'm in the middle of getting ready for my annual Christmas party. I know by the time you see this, the holidays will be pretty much over. But these tips you can use for a New Year's brunch, for a birthday party, for a graduation, anytime you have to feed a lot of people and you don't want to spend a ton of money. Now, at our house, we do something a little different than most people's Christmas parties. We don't just have the cocktails and the cheese and crackers and the cookies. We actually feed people a meal. 30 to 40 people. I don't know why we started this. I don't know when it happened. Obviously, it's insane. And I used to hate it. I hated it. I would get so stressed out. But that's because I didn't know how to do it right. I didn't have a plan. And that's the #1 rule of cooking for a crowd. Find something that works and stick with it. Now, what works in our household, the menu that I've gone to time and time again, is baked ziti and green bean casserole. Baked ziti, green bean casserole. Green bean casserole, as you can see, has 3 ingredients. You do put a few tablespoons of milk in, but basically 3 ingredients. You have your green beans. I like to buy the French style green beans. We're not animals here after all. Also, I call them freedom style green beans. You have 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, and I got the cheddar French fried onions. I went a little crazy. They cost about 30 cents more, but still this double recipe will come in at around $6. The baked ziti, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's like lasagna except even easier, which is crucial for me. I probably should have mentioned I don't know how to cook. You have 3 kinds of cheese, you have your sauce, and you have your ziti, or whatever that says there. In addition to the ziti and the casserole, I like to throw in one other dish to make things interesting for my guests. For this party, the dish is spanakopita, or for us non-Greeks, spinach pie. There's the spinach draining there. There's the cottage cheese and the feta. There's the phyllo dough. Now for me, this is a pretty big ticket item. This comes in around $9 for the pan, but I just love spanakopita, which brings us to our second golden rule of feeding a crowd. Only make what you like. I repeat, only make what you like. You never know how much of this stuff you're going to be eating the rest of the week once the party's over. And I'm sure anyone taking the time to watch a video on savings.com is going to be frugal like me and would never dream of throwing good food away. So if you're going to be eating ziti for a week, you better like it. Now you may have noticed there's no meat on this menu. I don't eat meat, so I don't usually serve it at my parties. One exception is if we have people over on Easter, we'll have some form of ham on the table. Another exception is this week at my grocery store, there were giveaways every day, and today's giveaway, Little Smokies. I don't know what these are. I don't know how you serve them, but I do know there's always one guy at the party who's all, oh, which of these has meat in it, pointing at the zitis, and I'm always, none of them. And he kind of arches an eyebrow disapprovingly. So for that guy, it's gonna be Christmas morning, because Little Smokies have come to town. So I wanted to show you just how easy the baked ziti is. You cook the pasta just like you normally would. Mix it with a whole jar of sauce. Then make 1 layer. Then we put on our ricotta mixture for the next layer. This is just ricotta, Parmesan cheese, and some eggs. Then you do your other layer. Yeah, this is the pan I used. You do your other layer of ziti and sauce. So you pile that on. Spread it out as evenly as you can. Throw some shredded cheese on top. Then you're done. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make the spanakopita because the amount of butter that goes into it is truly alarming. I don't think you want to know. And I'm not going to show you the green bean casserole because it looks so disgusting when it's not cooked. So disgusting. Do you want to see it anyway? Here, let's look. You notice I have a cameraman now? Say hi, cameraman.
I'm not saying hi.
Okay, so here it is. Take a look. This is what green bean casserole looks like. Now, not all the beans are in there yet. This doesn't do it justice because you can't smell it. Oof. Anyway, once it's all cooked up and has those little French fried onions on top, it'll be fabulous. So, the big day is finally here. I probably should have explained all that preparation I was doing before. That was last night. That was the night before the party. I could have done it a week before the party if I wanted to. And that brings us to rule number 3, which is so obvious, but it's worth stating. When you're cooking for a crowd, always make something that you can prepare ahead of time. You don't want to be hunched over the stove when guests are getting there, so you always want to make something that you can prepare ahead of time. Now, right about now, you're probably wondering, Heather, what about dessert? Well, that's a very good question. Now, I usually count on my guests to bring dessert, which brings us to rule number 4, know your audience, or know your guest list, I guess. My guest list is mostly single men and couples. And we tell them, hey, if you'd like to bring something, bring a beverage or maybe some dessert. Now, all the single men invariably bring beer, and all the couples always bring dessert. That's just how it is. Now, I do like to have a starter dessert anyway, just in case the earth came off its axis and nobody brought a dessert. So, I always make a bundt cake. Bundt cakes look really festive, and they're much easier than a layer cake. Now, the recipe I like to use for cake is this and this. Now, a nice trick to know is when it comes time to frost it, take the little, very important, take the middle part off, and put this in the microwave for about 40 seconds to a minute, and voila, you have chocolate glaze, and you can pour that on your cake. And if you use that little trick, I promise you, someone is going to ask you, hey, is this cake from scratch? And that's when you smile and you say, yes. So the party's in full swing, so we're about to put everything in the oven. Here's another shot of that delicious green bean casserole again. Here's the spanakopita.
Oh, this is a camera.
We cut it before we put it in the oven. How brilliant is that? And then we're going to start with 2 ziti's and see if we need the third. Okay, the spanakopita is done. Ziti does not want to get brown, so we're going to give that another minute or 2. Green bean casserole, see, didn't that dress up nice? Lovely.
My wife and I love coming to Matt and Heather's party, but nothing says I love you, Santa Claus, more than what she brings for the main course of this. It's really wonderful. And I know it's not a holiday season until we've come here and we feasted on this stuff. She was talking about it all day today. We're like, that's her Scooby snack. So.
Now that we've had a few days to recover from the party, let's go over what we learned about cooking for a crowd for less. Number 1, find a plan that works and stick with it. You want to save yourself time and stress, not just money. Number 2, only make what you like. Am I still eating ziti? Yes, but I'm also still eating chocolate cake. Yes! Number 3, prepare ahead. Duh. You never want to be cooking the day of. And number 4, know your guest list. If you have a lot of foodies on your guest list and you know they're all going to make caviar encrusted lamb shanks, don't make caviar encrusted lamb shanks. And there you go. Go out and throw a party, everybody. You're ready. You know all you need to know. I'll see you next time. This is Heather signing off for savings.com.